Hey, what is up everybody? This is Mark and today I'm here to show you how to assemble this flat folding chess set. We're super proud of this. I think you're really going to like it a lot. Let me give you a couple of tips before we jump into the file. First of all, there are two different files that are available to you, and the file name themselves tells you what range of material thickness you should be in to use each file. So for example, the first one is when you measure your materials and it is between 0.115 and 0.124. If your 1/8 inch material is between 115 and 124, then you're going to use that particular file. And then if your material is 0.125 to 135, then we've got another set of files for you. So measure your material with your calipers and then choose which file you need, and we'll show you how to put it together. Let's jump in and take a look at the file. All right, let's do this. This is going to be really cool. You're going to be very, very proud of the chess sets that you make with this design. Remember, before you get started cutting anything, make sure that you measure your material with your calipers and choose the file that best fits that. If you have material that is outside of these two ranges, if you have material that's thinner than 115 or 0.115 or thicker than 0.135, then this set is not going to work for you without a lot of editing. So make sure that your material is in that range before you get started. All right. So let's go over the files. The two files are exactly the same. Visually, they're just made for different material thicknesses. So for that reason, I'm not going to review both of them because they're exactly the same. Both of these take 3 sheets of material, or actually a combination of 3 sheets of material if you choose to do this version right here. Like I have here an MDF, for example, but you can use whatever material you want. If you choose to use the score lines for the black or the dark squares, then this will take 3 sheets. And if you choose to cut out all the pieces like we did here, it still takes technically 3 sheets combined, but you're going to have to cut a separate set from like birch, for example, and a separate top piece from walnut or whatever. So you'll figure that out. We'll talk about that in the file, but it really ultimately takes 3 sheets of 1/8 inch material. So let's talk about the file itself. Start where we always do, by reading the text. Black lines equal cut, red lines equal score. Don't get those backwards, you'll be frustrated. And this file is for material between 0.115 thick and 0.124. So make sure your material is that. And then these groupings here, these 3 pieces here, the next 3, and then the following 2, will each of those groups will fit on 1 sheet of 11 by 19 size material. So that's where you can group them together. Let me point out one more thing. If you're going to alternate your piece colors with different types of wood instead of paint, for example, then you're going to want to think about how you're cutting these, because let's say you want these hollow pieces to be the dark wood, then you're going to need to cut these pieces out of the dark wood and then these pieces out of the light wood. So just think through which pieces you're going to do with which material. I can't necessarily tell you all the options because you could do several different things, but just think about what's what material and cut it in that way. All right. So here is, again, the first set you can cut, and these 2 pieces will stack on top of each other, these first 2, and then this third one, you'll see this also in the assembly video. The third one I'll show you here. I can show you on the video here. You've got 2 of this frame. I'm about going to drop pieces here. It'll be great. 2 of this frame stacked on top of each other, and then this birch represents that filled rectangle here. So those 2 are stacked on top of each other just like that. And then for the other side, these 2 will be stacked on top of each other just like that with that birch in the middle there. And then these pieces here, let me see if I can close this and then flip it over. That represents these grids right here. And the only difference here, again, like I said earlier, is if you're going to cut the pieces out individually, cut these 2. If you're going to score them like this, then use these, okay? And red equals score, black equals cut. So you don't need to cut all 4 here, just cut the 2 that matches the way that you're going to build your chess set. Let me see if there's any other things I want to tell you about this. That part's pretty straightforward. You'll want to watch the assembly video to find out how this all goes together. But that's pretty much it. If you're going to paint things, then it doesn't matter if you use masking because you'll paint over whatever smoke stains might be there. And if you're going to do like I did here, you're going to want to mask. All you really need to do is mask one side of the material with the exception of the pieces, because those you'll see both sides on, but everything else you won't see both sides on it anyway. One last thing, depending on where your material falls in this thickness range that we have indicated here, that will determine how loose or tight the pieces fit into these slots. If you want to customize this for yourself, which I think is a great idea, measure your materials and then edit these slots to be whatever you want them to be. And what's the easiest way to do this is you can select a whole row of slots and edit them at the same time. And then since these two are identical, you can just edit 1, 2, 3, 4 columns and then copy and paste and you're done. So editing those particular slots will take a minute, minute and a half at most. So that's really easy as well. I think you're really going to love this. Just take your time, make something beautiful. Follow this and the other video and let me know how we can help you. But as always, we'd love to see what you guys make. This is going to be really cool. Have fun with it.